Dun, 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 dun. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Geek Entertainment. Oh, look, I just got a notification for myself on my phone. Hey, Jonathan. Danny's man in the chat. Mom. Yes, I'm usually late. Hey, Tony. All right. So, even though this is my Mickey Safari hat that Mom got me, that I'm using for my Indiana Jones hat. So, tonight is our Indiana Jones extravaganza. So we're going to talk about all things Indiana Jones. We're hanging in there. Hope you guys are good. How's it going in New York?
Let's start the drawers to you, lady.
Get out of here, short round. Alright, so couple things really quick before I jump into all things Indiana Jones, since I haven't seen you guys in a little while. So some of the new stuff that started, a lot of the FX on Hulu stuff I've checked out, and so far is really good. The show Dave, I like, it's funny. That show is pretty intense. I like it so far. It's pretty crazy. Nick Offerman's really good, and the girl who's in it, everybody. So good job on that so far. What else did I want to mention to you guys? We know from the month special that we did at the beginning of April that this was a kind of slow. I mean, March. Ooh, it's not April yet. There wasn't a whole lot coming out this month. One thing I did get to check out, and since we're about to get into all fanfare, woohoo! That show Hunters on Amazon. Oh my God, it's so good. It was really good. So it's like a show about this team of Nazi hunters, and it's like based in the 70s. So it has a lot of it was shot in Yonkers, where I'm from. So like, keep catching little places that I recognize in it, which is pretty crazy. But I like the style of it. It's like those, similar to like 70s like blaxploitation movies or whatever, like that funky. Cool. Really well done. Really interesting. I highly recommend Hunters. Really good. And up tonight there was a new episode, which when I looked for like at the beginning of the month, there was like no announcement anywhere, and I like searched for it. So that happened so quickly, and it did come out in March. I mean, yeah, March. That's what we are. Yeah. Okay. So let's get into all things Indiana Jones. So first of all, if this little tonight inspires you, if you guys have Netflix, currently all of the Indiana Jones movies are available to watch on Netflix. So that was like rewatch all of them and get prepared for the stream. And it was easy and it was great. See that they're not supposed to be on Netflix for much longer. I think that they're being pulled from Netflix and are eventually going to be on Disney Plus in a couple places. So, but as of today and as of right now, you can watch the 4 existing on Netflix. All right, so let's jump right in. All right, the Indiana Jones trilogy, because originally that's what it was, and like that time period, late, I don't know if it was like a George Lucas thing, it just became trilogies. Like things just had to happen in 3 all of a sudden. So Star Wars was like that, and then Indiana Jones was like that. So as you all know, probably, the Indiana Jones movies were all directed by Steven Spielberg and written by George Lucas, and they were produced through Lucasfilm, but directed by Steven Spielberg. So, Raiders of the Lost Ark in 1981. That was followed up by Temple of Doom, which Temple of Doom is actually supposed to be to Raiders of the Lost Ark. So it takes place in time, like a few years before Raiders of the Lost Ark. And then the third movie, Last Crusade, was a sequel to Raiders of the Lost Ark. So it went like movie. The reason that they made Temple of Doom a prequel was because they wanted him to go up against the Nazis. So, in order to switch it up from Raiders of the Lost Ark, they took it back a couple years to make it, I guess, make that he was doing something else and not battling Nazis. So, the Indiana Jones movies take place in the 30s. Temple of Doom still takes place like in the 1930s in the movie. And then no, there is a 4th movie, Legend of the Crystal Skulls or whatever, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which was done in 2000. To not exact fanfare on behalf of the Indiana Jones fans. I don't think people were too in love with that. And we'll get into a little bit more detail, but there is a 5th Indiana Jones supposedly definitely coming out. It was kind of supposed to be made and have come out already, I believe, in 2019, and then that didn't happen. Steven Spielberg is no longer directing it. They have another director right now, but I don't think that in stone yet. And Disney moved the release date to mid 2021. So it's supposed to come out next year. It's supposed to be starting. So we'll get into that a little bit. But there is supposed to be an as of now untitled Jones movie coming out in the next year or so. So we'll see. Alright. So starting with Raiders of the Lost Ark. Raiders of the Lost Ark was made in 1981, set in 1936. Directed by Steven Spielberg, as we mentioned. It was which I don't know if you guys all know who Frank Marshall is off the top of your head. He's a cool old dude. He was like Penny Marshall's brother. Produced a lot of stuff and TV stuff too, and really good director. So he was the original producer. I didn't see him listed on all. Don't know if he stayed producing through the whole series, but I know that he is involved in the new one that's supposed to come out because I saw a few him and things like that. So I know he's involved in this fifth Indiana Jones that's supposed to be being made. And of course, the music's done by John Williams, also, who did the music for Star Wars but it's really funny. Like, you really see a lot of the influences. Like, you see a lot of other Steven Spielberg movies in the end, like, it's almost like a grown-up Goonies in a lot of ways, so like certain, like, just the style of like how it's made and everything like that. Like, you see a lot of stuff mixed in with it. You see a lot of like, even the sets that they used for a lot of things. A lot of times you look at them and you be like, that kind of looks whereas the music is, I mean, they're like, especially when they try to switch to a little bit like softer or romantic tone, I guess. Other music in both movies is so similar to me, and if you like really like weren't paying attention to what it was, like you were in the other, I would have definitely thought Star Wars was on. Like, so you see a lot of the like influences for all that like throughout. The first one, like, you just saw a lot of the Star Wars influence, the E.T., Goonies, like Steven Spielberg style. So of course he's battling the Nazis. I don't go like super in depth with the plots of like Indiana Jones movies. Plots are like woohoo. I mean, there is like like the big artifact that he's going to get, but they move around. Like, they're in one country, then they're in another country. This happens, and like stories get very so I'm not gonna like delve into all that too deeply. Just quick overviews of each movie. So, Raiders of the Lost Ark, of course, he is on the Covenant. So the Nazis are trying to get the Ark of the Covenant because they think it'll make like their some like army intelligence people come to Indiana Jones and tell him that like the Nazis are looking for his mentor guy. But that guy's dead, and his daughter is Marion, played by Karen Allen, who is an old Jones. So she is like the romantic interest of Raiders of the Lost Ark. So like, yeah, he starts off in like whatever country, ends up going to Nepal where his mentor is supposed to be, but runs into the Marion chick, and then the Nazis show up, and there's a lot of like artifacts getting kidnapped back and forth. Marion getting kidnapped and unkidnapped and then re-kidnapped. It's a lot of that kind of back and forth stuff. They like his friend Salad and no Salah, and yeah, then they go to Egypt. They find the Ark of the Covenant, yada yada, and the Nazis are digging in this place for it, and a whole thing happens. And in the end, of course, Indiana Jones saves everybody, gets the Ark of the Covenant, which I believe the government unceremoniously tosses in some vault. Like, he didn't just go through all that trouble. So that was the ups and downs of the first Indiana Jones movie. Where did I? Okay, so Raiders of the Lost Ark was the top grossing film in 1981. And even like if you figure in inflation, it still remains like one of the top grossing films of all. I was a little bit surprised, but it was nominated for 8 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. Pretty crazy for a movie like that. Like, I mean, there was like faces melting and a lot of, like, I don't know, action movies like that, artsier movies are nominated for Best Picture. So I was really surprised. But it was nominated for Best Picture, and it won for film editing, sound, and visual effects. So it won a handful of Academy Awards, but it was very, so that's pretty cool for a movie like that. The next follow-up, Indiana Jones and the was in 1984, so that was like 3 years later. That one, I was a little too young at the time, or like pay attention to like critics and what people said about. It was just like if it was on, I watched it, yada yada. That's kind of how it went. And Indiana Jones and the is definitely the one that I know the best. Definitely the one I saw the most, because I don't know. I guess it was like I was prime aged when had HBO on and off most of my childhood. We were either splicing it from somebody or we had cable for a while. Whatever the case, we usually had HBO. That was a movie that was on like incessantly. So I saw that movie a lot of times, and it had some scenes in it that definitely stayed with as a really young kid, because I had to be like, what if it came out in '84? I was like 7, I guess, when it came out, so probably like 8 or 9 by the time it was like regularly being. And I saw it a lot. That movie is crazy. I always thought it was the best one. It's definitely the one I know the most and have seen the most. It's kind of what I think of when I think of Indiana Jones. But came to find out in doing research that like people were really not thrilled about it. Not fans necessarily, like it seemed to have a pretty decent like fan response. Critics did not like it. And even like George Lucas both kind of don't favor Temple of Doom, as it's probably their like least favorite. Like it was just, I guess, really dark. Like that was the thing with the critics. Like it was really dark and like had a few pretty violent and stuff like that. I was just checking the chat real quick. So, okay. So Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom was actually one of the films that there to be a PG-13 rating. So before 1984, the ratings went from G to PG to, and there was no PG-13. But a lot because of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, with there being kind of such great a couple, like the difference in special effects, though, I have to say, from Raiders of the Lost Ark to Temple of Doom were like stepped up. Gotta give them credit. So yeah, Steven Spielberg kind of was the one who like asked the MPA, like, you have to create some kind of middle ground between and R, because he was getting similar backlash apparently for Gremlins at the same time that Temple of Doom was coming out, that some of it was just a little too violent. I don't know. I was really young when I saw Gremlins in the movie theater. I don't remember thinking that it was violent. It was kind of hilarious. We were really young. Yeah, so because of all that, there ended up the creation of a PG-13 rating. The first movie that actually received a PG-13 rating was the movie Red Dawn. Come here, B. So, in Temple of Doom, Indiana, so it's set a year before he's Nazis, supposedly. it starts off in Shanghai, where he's like kind of deeds with this crime boss guy named Lau, and he ends up kind of saving Lau's named Willie, who was played by Kate Capshaw. And then so it was basically like him, and of course the coolest little, what's his name, K. Hugh Kwan, who played Short Round, 11-year-old sidekick, who would later go on to play Data in the Goonies. So I guess that's where he met Steve. Went on to do the Goonies. And Kate Capshaw, who played Willie, actually married Steven Spielberg. So they met doing Temple of Doom and got married a few years after that. So yeah, very country jumping and all over the place. They start off in like Shanghai, but then there's like a plane crash and some other stuff, and they end up in India. There's a tribe of crazy people with this little like Maharaji kid king or whatever, who's this little sadist creep. He's got little voodoo dolls and stuff. He's such a little creep. And so Frankenstein, what are you, oh my gosh. Yeah. So there's like the very famous scene, and the one that I like definitely think of first whenever I even think of Indiana Jones anything is when the like rips this guy's heart out of his chest while he's alive, and it doesn't even kill him. He stays alive in his hands, and then they gotta burn him and a bunch of like crazy stuff, and then they whip Short Round. It's terrible, terrible. Poor little. And so yeah, they end up in India, and this one tribe, this, you know, the nice tribe of Indian people are like sent to us so that you could rescue our little artifact stony thing, and all these kids that they took from us and made little slaves and stuff. So of course he saves everybody, and he saves Willie, and he saves Short Round, and he saves all the kids that were stuck working in the mines or whatever, and like mine scenes, crazy train runaway things. So to me, like Temple of Doom was definitely always like I don't know. I don't know what you guys feel about Temple of Doom in respect to the other Indiana Jones movies, but I'm a Temple of Doom fan. But hey, so that was from 1984. So then we jump ahead, 89, when we have Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. So Indiana Jones is fighting Nazis. I didn't write down what year that was supposed to take place in. It's like 37, I don't remember exactly. But still in the 1930s. And this time, like, Indiana Jones sort of has a love interest sort of chick. So it's this blonde, whatever, German double agent, whatever, named, what the heck? I wrote it down. Anyway, her name's like Ilsa something. Oh no, maybe that's the other one. Oh, no, Ilsa something. Anyway, so what's a little bit different is like more of the main part of the story isn't about. I mean, it is about Indiana Jones retrieving some artifacts. So, this time, and his dad was also a Grail enthusiast who has kind of gotten taken by the Nazis, but then Indiana gets him back. The whole movie sort of about Indiana Jones and his dad, who's played by Sean Connery, of course, um, who actually was nominated for that film. So after like the kind of dark tone of Temple of Doom, Steven Spielberg and George Lucas both wanted to go back to something that was a little more like the first movie, a little more like, you know, Raiders of the Lost Ark in tone. So we're back to battling Nazis who are trying to steal religious artifacts. um, River Phoenix was played young Indiana Jones when I think he's supposed to be like 13 in the flashback or something like that, to when he was a kid. So young Indiana Jones was played by River Phoenix, that was Joaquin Phoenix, who played the Joker in the Joker movie. That's his brother, actually. But he died really young, probably like only a few years maybe after he did Last Crusade. So yeah, of course, Indiana Jones, he does a lot of things, he fights a lot of knives, makes good choices, and gets to the Holy Grail, or whatever, and picks the right one, and the dumb agent chick, whatever. It all goes bad from there. See, that's a kind of repeating tone, because they do the same thing where like they kind of get to the like artifact at the end and have to like make the decision to you know, be better and not ever and leave all that whatever. So that was the end of the original trilogy of Indiana Jones films. Now there were originally supposed to be 5 Indiana Jones films. They after 3 for different reasons. At one point they went to go back and make like the next one, but Spielberg was too into something else. George Lucas had started kind of focusing his attention towards doing Star Wars prequels. And Indiana Jones ended up being just the trilogy that it was, which honestly was probably a good idea. I don't know. Like, a trilogy was kind of the most you got back then. I mean, horror movies started to get into the realm of doing 5th, 6th, whatever, you know, like, there were certain horror franchises that would just kind of like endlessly put out movies. But it, you know, you can do that, I guess. But for there to be a 5 series like film thing would have been really odd for that time. So there weren't any new Indiana Jones movies until 2008 when they went back and did Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. So we're gonna talk about it. I did the original 3, I guess, last night, and then did Kingdom of the Crystal Skull as a quick refresh today. So, besides Harrison Ford being, of course, back as Indiana Jones, Karen Allen came back as Marion, as Indiana's girl from the first movie. And then Shia LaBeouf. Like, I don't know. It's an odd casting choice for me, but okay, whatever. Shia plays Mutt, who ends up being Indiana Jones's son. There's a jump ahead. It is the 1950s now, and we are no longer battling Nazis, obviously. Cold War era. So the female counterpart in is Kate Blanchett with a terrible, terrible Russian accent. Her name is Elsa Irina Spalko. It was really hard to watch. Yeah. So he gets kidnapped by some Soviet agents. Trying to get a crystal skull. Because it has some kind of psychic powers and they want to use psychic warfare or whatever. So Indiana Jones is back in action. And then gets back together with Mary. That he has a weird kid. It had a couple of decent moments, I guess, but all in all, it needed, to come back and do another movie after 20 years, you kind of needed to bring it a little harder than it for Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. So I kind of hope if they go ahead and do this next film, they, I don't know, do a little bit better job of it. So this is what I was able to find out so far. The likely but not definite in my eyes because they haven't started actually making it. I feel a little can't really say that this is definitely happening yet, but they seem to be pretty positive that it is. So as I said, it's set to be released for 2021. The current director tied to it, who exactly he was, is James Mangold, and Steven Spielberg involved as a producer. So he didn't completely separate himself from the project, but he did. And to what I saw, he just announced in February of 2020 that he didn't want to direct it, and that he felt it was time for a new director to step into Indiana Jones for whatever reason. It seems a little suspect. John Williams is on to do the score. George Lucas is listed as an executive producer. Who produced the original, affirmed that it was a sequel, not a reboot. So there's some discussion about what's going to happen. How much longer can they use Harrison Ford to play Indiana Jones? Do they want Shia LaBeouf to take as the new Indiana Jones? I don't think that me personally, I don't see that being successful. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Jonathan is correct. So, yeah, Frank Marshall said, no, it's definitely a sequel, not a reboot. Bob, who I'm guessing was still the CEO of Disney at the time of that quote, said that it was definitely a conclusion of the franchise. So, obviously, he saw it going on from there, but as we know, Bob Iger has been replaced as CEO of Disney. Like there's a whole transition period, so he's still kind of like things there, has a different title or whatever the deal is with that. So yeah, that the quote I saw from him was that illusion of the franchise. So I don't know where they see it going after that. But with Disney, anything's possible. They can death. Like if anybody can just beat it all to death, it is definitely definitely Disney. So like honestly, I will be like to me it seems like Harrison Ford is definitely more like emotionally attached to Indiana Jones than than he is to Han Solo. I mean, I guess because that was more of a me Harrison Ford, all about me kind of a project. Oh, I know a couple years ago when they were talking about, oh, is it time to, pass the hat to Shia LaBeouf? Harrison Ford, he said, I earned that hat. Shia LaBeouf can get his own hat. So I feel like Harrison Ford is not on board. So even if they made a film that was like supposed to be like the last Harrison Ford Indiana Jones, I feel like it should be like Indiana Jones going out a good like, celebration of like his career and his life, and not make a whole film that's about it isn't about him, it's about somebody else taking over for him. And I don't want to see that, like don't disrespect Indiana Jones that way. That would be wrong and rude. So if you're listening, Disney, do not do that. Do not an Indiana Jones movie that's not about Indiana Jones. So I don't know. What are you gonna call it if you make Shia Mutt Jones? Like, what's the name of that? Yeah, Spear of Destiny. That would be cool, Jordan. Like you like that, So that would definitely fit in to the Indiana Jones. Daddy, why are you popping up twice? What two places are you chatting to me on? Daddy? Yes, Disney listens to me, or they should. I could save them a lot of mistakes. Out with some ridiculous ideas. Like, they should pay me to just sit there and, like, listen to them pitch ideas, and my whole job would be this. Don't do that. Nope. And I would save them a lot of fan outrage. No. What, like, Disney seems to have lost sight of what people want. You want you to make cool cartoons like another Little Mermaid, make another Lion King, do something good. Stop rebooting, remaking, and live actioning things. Like, you came out, you did Frozen, you figured it out. Now beat it to death doing Frozen 8. I'll call me. I'm here for you. I will help you not screw up this Indiana Jones movie. Just, you can catch me. And that is that. All right, we'll do a couple Indiana Jones trivia questions before I leave you guys. Normally, I would really waste a lot of time during the day writing out questions and answers. I decided not to do that anymore. Get with technology and stop writing things down like I live in the 1800s. You know. I can hear you laughing at me from the other room, Daddy. All right, this is if you really know your Indiana Jones, because I didn't give you guys a lot of like too much of the background information. So I don't think I gave away many of the answers. A couple maybe, but so this will test it how well you know your Indiana Jones. Try not to cheat. Don't be a Danny. I'm gonna skip any questions that I find to just be like out of left field that nobody's gonna get the answer to. I mean, unless you guys are just like fully loaded with Indians. I don't think we're there. Oh, but here's my bonus trivia question. You guys, whoever trivia question, Danny, you're obviously not allowed to answer the bonus trivia question. So, what do Indians and Danny have in common? I hear you laughing. All right. Right in. In which Indiana does Allison Duty appear? Very. So, if anybody knows which Indiana Jones movie Allison Duty was in, I'll give y'all a minute before I tell you the answer. Not Doom, Jonathan. Do 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 do. I'll throw it out there. So Allison Duty was actually from and the Last Crusade. She played German or Austrian or whatever double agent Elsa Schneider. You know how Danny feels about villains named Elsa. Oh, I gotta skip that one. I gotta skip that question because it is also the answer to what do Danny and Rhodes have in common. Yup, that's what happened. And the Jones, they were like, "Do you wanna build a snowman?" Gee, this is a tough. I'm gonna throw it out to you guys. Who plays Indiana Jones in the original 3 movies? Which is a weird way to phrase that's the same person who plays Indiana Jones in the fourth movie, and I don't think that's a giveaway at all. That's right, Danny. You know. Hey, Pirate Princess Red. Alright, so next question. Correct. Pirate Princess Red gives the right answer, not Han Solo. What kind of dog does Indy have as a boy? So, show it in Last Crusade. I don't know if anybody remembers. Another interesting factoid is Indiana was actually George Lucas's dog, I believe. And it was also the dog that character Chewbacca was based on. So Indiana Jones and Chewbacca were essentially two characters by one dog. Can you hear that on the video? Yeah, Jonathan, you're pretty. It was a husky or a Alaskan Malamute. And that's actually the kind of dog that George Lucas had, the one whose name was Indiana. These questions are crazy hard. I have to look this up. Okay. Which pop group wrote and performed a song based on the Indiana Jones movies named Dr. Jones? Do chinchillas make noise? But I always wondered, like, I love chinchillas. I think they're adorable. If I were not overtaxed with animals, like a chinchilla is one I'm surprised that I never, like, I've been kind of obsessed with chinchillas since I was really young. But I've never heard them make noise. That is so cute. Maybe one day I'll have a chinchilla. Jonathan got it. So the answer is, which, if I'm not mistaken, isn't that the group that did that Barbie Girl song? Like, heard. Yeah, we definitely need to let the herd thing before we add any new pets. So it'll be a few years at this point. Alright, next question. In Raiders of the Lost Ark, and everything else really, what two weapons did Indy carry with him at all times? Do, 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 do. Jonathan is cracking me up. He said, yeah, terrible. It is terrible. Yep, Jordan got it. Danny, I don't think you're allowed to answer. I mean, you are. Oh, everybody got it. A bullwhip and a pistol. This question is just ridiculous. In which Jones movie does someone try to kill Indy? Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Indiana Jones is the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, all of them. Why you gotta be like that? I think we all know that the answer is all of the above. Somebody's always trying to kill Indy. Do, 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 do. I'll throw this one out there. Film is this quote from? Throw me the idol, I throw you the whip. Do you want to build a snowman? Yes, correct. That was Raiders of the Lost Ark. So that was actually like in the beginning, and that was Indiana Jones's guide Satipo, who was actually played by Alfred Molina. I don't know what you guys would know him from. He's in like everything. So that was pretty cool. I was like, oh wow, Alfred Molina, and then he betrayed Indy right from the get-go. And you know how that goes. He didn't last very long. In which language did Indy have to count to 20 before his father would listen to him? Not Latin, but you're close. Yep. Jonathan got it. Tony got it. What is going on? Oh, did I say Jonathan? I meant Jordan. Thank you, Danny. Alright, I'll throw this one out. In Raiders of the Lost Ark, when the Ark of the Covenant was always found inside. Jordan is killing me. Okay. No. No. Should I give you guys the answer? Because it doesn't look like you're gonna get it. Daddy got it. There was sand. Alrighty. And now our final question of the evening. Is Indiana Jones afraid of? Jonathan right behind. That is correct. And it is also the answer to our bonus question. What do Ins and Danny have in common? They do not like a little slithery snake. They don't like it. They don't like the snake. Look. Snake. Snake. Snakes. Hey. Hey, AI, thanks for dropping in. It's a snake. Alright, I guess that concludes our Indiana Jones extravaganza. Thanks for hanging out. I will see you guys next Friday. Same bat time, same bat channel. In the meantime, me and Danny will be here tomorrow for the pajama party, midnight hangout, as the case where we talk about things. Coming tomorrow, you can vote on Danny's hair. That's right, folks. You will get the opportunity to decide what it's gonna look like. So, we'll see you guys tomorrow at midnight. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we will see you guys again soon. Bye.